Hi, and welcome to Cenario, your partner in mental wellness. Here on our channel, we share educational, insightful, and science-backed content to help you understand your mental health and take meaningful steps toward a more balanced life. If you're ready to learn, grow, and take control of your wellness journey, let's jump right in.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. So if you are one of the millions of people trying to navigate that huge, noisy marketplace for supplements, the ones promising better memory, sharper focus.
Maybe even a shield against age-related decline.
Exactly. Then this deep dive is pretty much custom built for you. The interest in these brain-boosted pills is just massive.
It's huge. And it's driven by two things, really. On one hand, you have that really aggressive commercial marketing.
And on the other, a completely genuine, understandable concern about everyday forgetfulness. Where did I put my keys? What was that word I was looking for?
Yeah, it's a real challenge. I mean, the sheer volume of products out there, it just creates this fog of mixed messages.
Right. You've got two completely different stories being told.
Exactly. On one side, you have that, aggressive marketing promising instantaneous results, the perfect study drug,
It's
or...
a fountain of youth in a pill.
Right, exactly that. And then on the other side, you have the often very dry scientific narrative, which is all about deficiencies and long-term prevention.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Our mission today is to cut right through that fog. We're here to find the practical nuggets of truth that sit right between those two extremes.
We're asking what actually works, for whom, and, under what conditions.
And I think we have to start by setting the right expectations.
We absolutely must. Look, supplements can be helpful tools, but they are never, ever a replacement for a healthy foundation. They're not magic.
So the crucial first step for anyone even considering this is what?
Talk to a healthcare provider, always, especially if you take any existing medications or have underlying health issues.
And I guess testing comes first, right?
The value of testing for deficiencies first cannot be overstated. It directs you towards smarter, truly targeted choices, and frankly, reduces wasted money and potential risk.
So don't throw darts in the dark. Find out exactly what hole you need to fill.
Precisely.
Okay, let's jump into the ingredients that pop up the most. We'll start with the compounds that try to provide the raw materials for the brain's signaling system, choline precursors.
Right, specifically things like CDP-choline, also known as acetylcholine, and alpha-GPC.
So why are they so important?
Well, they're directly involved in supporting the production of acetylcholine.
And that's the neurotransmitter that's key for learning and recall.
Absolutely key. It's all about rapid communication between neurons, which translates directly into functions like learning, processing speed, and yes, short-term recall.
The mechanism sounds solid. They provide the raw materials, but what about the evidence? Does everyone who takes one of these suddenly get smarter?
Well, this is what's so fascinating. The clinical trials show much clearer, more reliable benefits in very specific populations.
Like who?
Older adults who already have some mild cognitive complaints, or people who have a demonstrably low baseline of choline in their diet, they see the biggest gains.
So why doesn't that same immediate boost happen for, say, a healthy, well-nourished 25-year-old?
It just connects back to basic biology. If you're a healthy young person already getting enough choline from your diet, from eggs, meat, soy, your acetylcholine receptors are likely already saturated.
You're not depleted.
Exactly. So taking more choline is like trying to pour water into a glass that's already full. Your system just can't use the excess raw material efficiently. Benefits are seen when there's an actual gap to fill.
That reframes the entire purpose of these things. So what about the practical details? Dosing, side effects?
The typical study doses are anywhere from 250 milligrams up to 1,000 milligrams a day, and it's often split into 2 doses.
And side effects, are they serious?
Usually quite mild. Some stomach upset or maybe a mild headache are the most common things people report. And this is a crucial safety alert.
Okay.
You must check for interactions with any existing medications you might be taking that affect the nervous system.
You mentioned cholinergic or anti-cholinergic medications. Can you break that down for us? What does that actually mean?
We're talking about medications that specifically target that acetylcholine system. So things like certain muscle relaxants, drugs for overactive bladder, even some older antidepressants or common over-the-counter antihistamines.
I see. So if you're taking a drug that blocks acetylcholine...
An anticholinergic, yes. If you're taking one of those and then you add a large dose of a choline precursor, you could potentially cause some really unexpected side effects or imbalances. So always confirm that with your clinician first.
That's a vital safety point. Okay, moving on to another massive name in this world, ginkgo biloba. This is probably the most widely marketed memory aid on the planet.
It is. It's what I'd call the inconsistent standard.
The inconsistent standard. I like that. So what's the reality check here?
Well, the reality is, despite its popularity and all the subjective reports of people feeling sharper, several large, really rigorous randomized trials have reported, well, little to no effect versus a placebo.
So for the big goals like preventing dementia or actually improving memory in healthy older adults,
The objective data just isn't there. The marketing is definitely stronger than the science.
okay, so if the results aren't that great, why is the safety profile still so important to talk about?
This is a top-level safety priority. It really overrides everything else. Ginkgo can significantly increase bleeding risk.
And this is especially true if you're on, what, blood thinners?
Exactly. If you're taking anticoagulants or antiplatelet drugs, things like warfarin or even just daily aspirin, the risk is serious.
How serious are we talking?
We've seen documented cases, patients who added ginkgo experiencing really alarming bleeding or bruising from just minor bumps.
Wow.
I mean, sometimes just from tying their shoes too tight or walking into a piece of furniture. It's a real, tangible risk.
That one anecdote really drives home how important it is to check.
It has to be non-negotiable. If you're on those medications, you must consult your doctor before even thinking about ginkgo.
Okay, let's pivot from those herbal and compounded nootropics to something more fundamental, micronutrients. We often overlook the basic building blocks, like zinc.
Right. And zinc plays a vital role in synaptic function. That's the communication space between your neurons. And it's especially key in forming spatial memories.
But I'm sensing a familiar caveat here.
It's the same story as with B12 or vitamin D. The benefits are overwhelmingly likely to be seen only when a deficiency is already present. If you're not deficient, the cognitive effects in trials are pretty mixed, often negligible.
And with zinc, you can't just megadose it without consequences, right?
Absolutely not. This needs a strong dosing warning. Zinc is one of those nutrients that, when you take too much, you create a whole other problem.
What's the limit?
Do not go over the adult upper limit of 40 milligrams of elemental zinc per day unless you are under medical supervision.
And the danger isn't just an upset stomach.
No, it's not just temporary nausea. High doses of zinc can actually disrupt your body's absorption of copper.
So, in trying to fix one theoretical memory problem, you create a guaranteed, potentially more serious deficiency in copper.
Exactly. And copper is essential for energy production, for iron metabolism. When we treat a zinc deficiency, responsible practitioners will almost always monitor copper status at the same time to prevent that exact imbalance.
Which again just hammers home why testing first is so important. It eliminates the guesswork.
And the risk of self-created problems.
Okay, that really sets the stage. But let's talk about the foundation. I mean, what if the whole foundation is unstable? That brings us to strategy, and lifestyle has to come first.
It has to. Supplements are purely adjuncts. You cannot supplement your way out of poor lifestyle choices. I know it sounds obvious, but it is the scientific truth.
The core strategies being sleep, exercise, diet.
Right. Sleep optimization, regular aerobic exercise, adopting something like a Mediterranean-style diet, and engaging in mentally stimulating activities. Those yield the most robust, predictable returns.
I know we have to say lifestyle first, but everyone kind of knows that. Give me a better reason why I should prioritize an extra hour of sleep or a 30-minute run over just swallowing a pill tomorrow morning.
Okay, let's elevate the discussion beyond just get 8 hours. Let's look at the mechanism. When you do intense aerobic exercise, you're triggering the release of BDNF.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the brain fertilizer.
Precisely. It encourages the growth of new neurons. It strengthens synaptic connections. It is the best natural cognitive booster there is. And it's what a lot of expensive exotic nootropics try, imperfectly, to mimic.
So if you're not getting that natural boost,
Or if you're not hitting those crucial REM and slow-wave sleep phases where memory consolidation actually happens, the pill you take won't have a stable structure to latch onto. You're building a house on sand.
that definitely elevates lifestyle from a chore to a scientific imperative. Okay, now here's where it gets really tricky for the consumer. The quality problem. How do we choose products wisely?
You need objective criteria because the consumer often has to do all the heavy lifting. First, prefer the specific ingredient forms that have clinical evidence behind them.
So not just magnesium, but magnesium L-threonate.
Exactly. Or CDP choline, forms that have actually been studied. Second, look for clear third-party testing seals.
What do those seals like USP or NSF actually guarantee me?
They're your insurance policy. They guarantee two things: purity and potency. Purity means no harmful heavy metals or contaminants. Potency means the product actually contains the dose of the active ingredient that's listed on the label.
Which is shockingly not always the case.
Not at all guaranteed without that oversight.
And what about that infamous proprietary blend?
That is the biggest red flag you can find. Demand transparency. Choose labels that explicitly list the amounts of all active ingredients.
Because if they hide it in a blend,
They're usually underdosing the expensive active ingredients and filling the capsule with cheap filler. It just cripples your ability to judge effectiveness and safety.
all right, so once you've found a quality product, people often move to stacking combining supplements. And this is where the risk just skyrockets, doesn't it?
It really does. The principles here involve very careful calculation. Start by pairing your fundamentals, maybe omega-3s and a targeted B complex, with your established lifestyle changes.
And then you can add other things.
Then you can use known synergists, but with caution. A common one is L-theanine with a low dose of caffeine for attention without the jitters, or magnesium L-threonate for sleep-linked memory consolidation.
But the real danger is high cumulative dosing.
Exactly. You have to check everything.
Yeah.
If you take a pre-workout, a memory blend, and a multivitamin, you can easily push past the safe upper limit for nutrients like zinc, or worse, vitamin B6.
What happens with too much B6?
Massive cumulative doses can actually cause nerve damage, peripheral neuropathy. So you have to be so careful. And always check for drug interactions with a professional.
We've covered the what, the how, the safety. Let's talk about the timeline. This is probably the most common reason people give up, right? Unrealistic expectations.
For sure, results are usually modest, and they require a lot of patience. If you're correcting a documented severe deficiency like low B12, you might see improvements faster, maybe within a few weeks.
But for general boosting,
For prevention or general cognitive boosting in someone who isn't deficient, benefits usually emerge across 8 to 12 weeks or even months of consistent use. You have to give it time.
okay, let's put this all into practice. If someone has gradual concerns about their memory, not sudden acute loss, which is an immediate doctor's visit, what's the best first step?
For those gradual concerns, testing is the key. You have to focus your efforts. Don't jump into expensive nootropics until you know what the actual gap is.
So what kind of tests should you ask a clinician about?
The common ones would be serum vitamin B12, 25-hydroxyvitamin D, a full thyroid panel, and basic metabolic blood work. Sometimes an omega-3 index is helpful too. These point you toward correcting actual verifiable problems.
So you've got your test results, you've selected a quality third-party certified product. What's the step-by-step trial plan?
Okay, this is the definitive plan, and it needs a bit of commitment. First, start one supplement at a time.
To isolate the effects.
Exactly. To isolate effects and spot any side effects. Don't add a whole stack at once. Second, keep a detailed symptom log.
Tracking not just memory, but other things too.
Everything. Memory incidents, yes, but also mood, sleep quality, any digestive changes. You might find it helps your sleep more than your focus, and that's still valuable information.
Step 3.
Allow a full trial period. Remember, we're looking at a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks. Don't quit after 2. Then reassess with your clinician using follow-up testing or objective measures. And finally, document any interactions if you add a new medication.
And what about timing? When should you actually take these pills?
Timing does matter. For fat-soluble nutrients like vitamin D, K omega-3s, take them with a meal that contains some fat for best absorption.
And for stimulants?
Stimulants, or pairs like L-theanine and caffeine, work best earlier in the day. You want to leverage their focus effects without messing up your sleep that night.
Okay, finally, let's circle back to safety one last time. Who are the populations that need to be extra careful?
Special caution is needed for several groups. This includes pregnant or breastfeeding individuals, children, people with chronic illnesses, anyone with altered kidney or liver function.
And especially older adults.
Most critically, older adults who are taking multiple prescription drugs. This group is at such a high risk of what we call polypharmacy interactions. If you use blood thinners, thyroid medication, or multiple antidepressants, professional guidance is absolutely non-negotiable.
This has been a really dense, but I think essential dive into the realities here. So what is the ultimate key takeaway for someone listening?
I think the final, most valuable piece of advice is about the process, not the product. The pathway should be test, target, trial, and track.
Test, target, trial, and track.
Yes, supplements work best and most safely when they are laser-focused on addressing a clear, identifiable need that you found through testing. They're targeted ammunition, not a shotgun blast.
So what does this all mean practically for someone who just wants better recall today? What's the final provocative thought we should leave them with?
Okay, consider this. Since supplements are rarely a standalone solution, and the real verifiable benefits often take months, 8 to 12 weeks, or even longer to emerge,
Right.
how might focusing 100% of your energy today on optimizing those core lifestyle strategies, quality sleep, sustained aerobic exercise, and cleaning up your diet yield a more immediate and more robust return on your cognitive investment than starting a pill tomorrow?
That's a great challenge. The evidence really does suggest that the combined thoughtful approach foundation first, then targeted supplements, offers the highest chance of real benefit without the unnecessary cost or risk.
Absolutely. And remember that clinical consultation is essential to align the testing, the dosing, and the monitoring with your own personal health history. Knowledge is powerful, but its application has to be guided.
Thank you for watching Cenario. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. For personalized mental wellness supplements, visit Cenario.com. See you in the next one.